פרשת ויחי, תשפ"ה, ערב צום עשרה בטבת. The shiur today was sponsored by one of our best students years ago, Richie Shalmi, for his new granddaughter, Mazal Bat Rivka. The Kadosh Baruch Hu will bless Mazal Bat Rivka with good health, and she should grow leTorah, lechupa, ulmaasim tovim, and Richie and his wife should have a lot of nachat from her and from all their family. להבדיל בין החיים לנפטרים, it was also donated לעילוי נשמתו הטהורה של אליהו בן מרים. הקדוש ברוך הוא ישמור אותו עולם הבא, and רוח השם תניחנו בגן עדן, אמן. Tomorrow will be Tzom Asara B'Tevet. Tzom Asara B'Tevet is one of the 4 fasts that we are fasting because of troubles, because of tzarot that happened to Am Yisrael. These 4 fasts are mentioned in Sefer Zechariah. The pasuk says there in Sefer Zechariah, Tzom HaRevi'i. We are starting to count from Nisan, so Tzom HaRevi'i is 17 B'Tammuz. Tzom HaChamishi, the 5th month, is Av, Tisha B'Av. Tzom HaShvi'i, the fast of Tishri, Tzom Gedalia, and Tzom HaAsiri, the 10th month, is Tebet. Yiyeh lebet Yehuda, lesason ulesimcha ulemoadim tovim. So we see from here that Zechariah gives a prophecy that all these fasts will change for the good, but we see from here that these 4 fasts are being mentioned in the Navi. Now, why we are fasting on Asara B'Tevet? On Asara B'Tevet, says the Navi in Sefer Yecheskel, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babel, he came and he made a siege around Yerushalayim. As the pasuk says in Sefer Melachim, בשנה התשיעית למלכות צדקיהו בחודש העשירי בעשור לחודש, on the 10th of the month, בא נבוכדנצר מלך בבל, הוא וכל חילו, he with all his troops, על ירושלים. I'm adding here something. At that time, Yecheskel Hanavi was sitting in Babel with the Jewish people that were in exile. At that time, Borei Olam revealed to Yecheskel that there is a siege around Yerushalayim. And he told Yecheskel to write, to take a pen and to write on a cloth that on the 10th of Tebet, there is a siege on Yerushalayim. And the pasuk says the following: Ktov lecha et Shem Hayom, write down the name of the day from the week, Sunday or Monday, et Etzem Hayom Hazeh, also the monthly date. means the 10th of Tebet. Melech Bavel made the siege on Yerushalayim. Why Borei Olam did it? Because at that time, the situation by Am Israel was not a good situation. A lot of people didn't keep the mitzvot, didn't keep the Torah, and there was there also Navi'ei Sheker, false Nevi'im. These false Nevi'im, they said that Yerushalayim will not be destroyed, Bet Mikdash will not be destroyed, don't worry. One of them was Hananiah ben Azur. He was a false Navi, and he said nothing will happen. So a lot of people followed him, and they didn't do teshuvah. They continued in their bad way of life. In order to strengthen Yecheskel Hanavi, to show that Yecheskel, he is the truth Navi. He knew what happened far away. In those days, don't forget, there is no phones and no broadcasting. So Yecheskel wrote the day of the week and the monthly day, and after a period of time came the news that Yerushalayim is surrounded with a siege, and Yecheskel showed them the date and the day that he wrote, and this was the truth thing. So this strengthened Yecheskel Hanavi. Now we have to understand what happened at that time and why this fast is different than all the other fasts. We have one very strict fast, and the fast is Tisha B'Av. He is mentioned with the 4 fasts that we said, but he is more strict. Starting in the evening, you are not allowed to do 5 things. Very strict fast. While all the others are regular fasts. But we see in the poskim that the fast of Asara B'Tebet, it's not like Tisha B'Av. But for one hand, according to Abu Draham, the fast of Asara B'Tevet is more strict than Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av and Shiva Asar B'Tamuz and Tzom Gedalia, if they fall on a Shabbat, you push them to the next day. Tisha B'Av that falls on Shabbat, you fast on Sunday. Shiva Asar B'Tamuz, again also on Sunday. But, says Abu Draham, if Asara B'Tevet falls on Shabbat, we fast on Shabbat. But such a thing can never happen nowadays. In the time of the Mishnah that they use to make Kiddush HaChodesh according to witnesses that saw the moon, it could have happened. But nowadays, with our calendar, it never happens that it falls on Shabbat. But Asara B'Tevet falls on a Friday. And even though that you are not allowed to fast on Shabbat, Asara B'Tevet, fast on Shabbat. Even though that Erev Shabbat don't enter Shabbat with a fast, עשרה בטבת, this year, we will enter the Shabbat with a fast. The question is, why עשרה בטבת is so strict? So we try to explain it. I want to tell you, first of all, what's written in the Midrash in Yalkut Shimoni. He describes what happened at that year that Nebuchadnezzar came and made a siege around Yerushalayim. When he came with all his troops to surround Yerushalayim, they thought that in a very short time, says the Midrash, they will conquer Yerushalayim. But they made a mistake, because Borei Olam didn't want them to enter Yerushalayim yet. What happened? Borei Olam said, I want to give Am Yisrael time to do teshuvah, that they will see the siege and immediately they will think, what's going on here? Let's do teshuvah. Borei Olam is talking to us here. And therefore Borei Olam was waiting over 2 years that Am Yisrael will do teshuvah. Therefore, the siege was a long time, and there was a big famine at that time in Yerushalayim. The weapons that the Babylonians and all the nations used at that time was swords, but to fight against a wall, they could fight only with spears and with stones and with wood. And the Babylonians, they used to throw big stones to break the wall and to cause damage to the places where the Jewish soldiers stood on the wall. What happened was that among the soldiers of Am Yisrael was one person who was a very brave person. He was a gibor. And his name, the Midrash brings his name, Avika ben Gabatri. This was his name. He was a very strong person. And when the Babylonians used to throw stones, and usually the stones were round stones, like a tennis or like a football, when they threw the stone, they used to catch the stone and throw it back to them. And not only he threw it with his hands, but sometimes they threw a stone and with his foot he used to kick the stone back onto the Babylonians, and he killed a lot of Babylonian soldiers. And this took around 2 years till Borei Olam was waiting and waiting and waiting, and they didn't do teshuvah. So this brave person, Avika ben Gabatri, he died. How he died? Not from stones that was thrown on him. Said the Midrash, a wind came. Borei Olam sent the wind and threw him down, and he passed away. This is one of the ideas here that we have to take and to understand what's the importance of this fast. The importance of this fast, for one point I'm saying now, is that Borei Olam gave Am Yisrael an opportunity to do teshuvah. It was very easy to conquer Yerushalayim, but Borei Olam didn't let. He gave still time to do teshuvah. So what we are mourning is for the opportunity that Am Yisrael got and they didn't use it. And this is a lesson also for us to nowadays. We are also now in a time that we are in a siege around us from the north and from the south and from the far north. We have surrounded with enemies. And all of these people are sending missiles to Eretz Israel. We have somebody who is like this brave person. He is a rabbi like Avika ben Gabatri. Avika, what did he do? He threw back the stones. We don't have such a thing, but we have something else, the Iron Dome, that don't let the missile to cause harm in Eretz Israel. So this is a talk that Borei Olam is talking to us. So we have to learn from Asara B'Tebet that the same thing that at that time we are mourning at this time, the strictness of this fast is because Borei Olam opened the gate and we didn't enter the gate. The same thing happens nowadays, and we have to learn from it. Borei Olam opened the gate now to us. We have to do teshuvah as it happened at that time. But let's go now back to what said the Abu Draham. If Asara B'Tebet would have fell on Shabbat, he would have fasted on Shabbat. Abu Draham, he is writing a big chidush here. Two chidushim he has here. One chidush is that he fast on Shabbat. Number two, the way that he learns it. He learns it like a gezeira shava. In the Torah, we have another, here in the Torah, we have a pasuk about Yom Kippurim. And the pasuk the pasuk on Yom Kippurim says that you should fast be'etzem hayom hazeh. Yom Kippur, it says be'etzem hayom hazeh. Etzem hayom hazeh means at that day, and you cannot push forwards or backwards. No pushing. Even Shabbat. And since here it says to Yechezkel, Uktov lecha be'etzem hayom hazeh. So here we have the word be'etzem hayom hazeh. And over Yom Kippurim we have etzem hayom hazeh. So the same thing, Yom Kippurim, you fast on Shabbat. The same thing, Asara B'Tevet, if it will fall on Shabbat, you have to fast on Shabbat. This is a big chidush that Maran Bet Yosef said he does not understand from where he took it. Also, the Gzera Shava is a very strange Gzera Shava. We don't make Gzera Shava from Torah to Navi. And beside this, the Etzem Hayom Hazeh by Yechezkel doesn't speak about the fast. It's speaking about writing, not about fasting. But this what says the Abu Draham. But still, we are missing an explanation. What is the strictness that it will push even Shabbat? Comes here the Khatam Sofer, in Drashot Khatam Sofer, and he explains the idea behind. And he says, the following. When the Nebuchadnezzar made the siege on Yerushalayim, he didn't do anything. It was just a siege. Nobody died. No harm to the wall. Nothing happened. So why we are fasting on the day that he made the siege? And so this is one question. Explains the Khatam Sofer that every year, at that time, that Nebuchadnezzar made the siege around Yerushalayim, Borei Olam gathered Beit Din Shel Mala. And they were sitting there, Borei Olam with his Beit Din, the prosecutor with the defense, and they started to think, shall this siege continue and will bring the destruction of Mikdash or not? Or it will remain like this. At the end, Am Yisrael didn't do teshuvah. So what happened was that the decision was that it will bring the destruction of Mikdash. And really, after 2.5 years, close to 3 years, Beit Mikdash was destroyed. But says the Khatam Sofer, since then, since that period of time, first time, of Asara B'Tevet, the first Asara B'Tevet, every year, Borei Olam is gathering Beit Din Shel Mala. And again, they are sitting and they are dealing with the question, shall the destruction of Mikdash continue or it will be nullified? And Borei Olam will give will cause that will be the end of the Galut and rebuilding Beit Mikdash. This is being done every year. And even tomorrow, the same thing will be. Borei Olam will gather Beit Din Shel Mala, and they will look, and they will see either yes, either no. In other words, the reason that we are fasting, says the Khatam Sofer, is not because of the past. We don't mourn now on what happened in the past. In Asara B'Tevet, that he came, the Nebuchadnezzar came to make the siege. Not for this we are fasting. We are fasting now for the future. That we are praying to Borei Olam. We are saying Selichot in the Tefillah. That we want that the decision in Beit Din Shel Mala will be for the good. That Borei Olam will favor us. This is the reason why we are fasting on Asara B'Tevet. Such a fast we find in Shulchan Aruch that you are allowed to do. Where do we have it? We know that on Shabbat you have to eat. Oneg Shabbat. You have to enjoy Shabbat on Shabbat. One of the ways to enjoy Shabbat is to eat well. But what will be if a person on Erev Shabbat, he went to sleep, and he had a bad dream that something very bad is going to happen to him. In the morning, if he wants, he can fast. The fast will heal the dream. And you come to him and you say to him, David, why you're fasting? Shabbat, Oneg Shabbat. Says David, for me, this Shabbat, the Oneg Shabbat, the enjoyment of Shabbat will be that I will fast. And he's fasting for what? That what happened will be for the good. He's waiting for the good. And the same thing is the fast of Asara B'Tevet. Khatam Sofer, according to him, Abu Draham is being explained because the fast is not for the past, and for a good future. For a good future, you are allowed to fast. And this is the idea behind the fast of Asara B'Tevet. And therefore, now this year that Asara B'Tevet falls on a Friday, we are fasting. We are not stopping the fast on Friday after Chatzot. Now we continue till the entrance of Shabbat, and then we go home and we are making the Kiddush. We're starting the Kiddush with the fast. The person is difficult for him to say the Kiddush, to say when he come home, he is hungry and he doesn't feel so good and he wants to start immediately Kiddush, he can skip off to say Shalom Aleichem to the angels, and to say Eshet Chayil. He can make the Kiddush. First he can make the Kiddush, and after this he will eat something, and then he can say Shalom Aleichem. Even though that according to some poskim, Asara B'Tevet, we don't take a good shower, and we don't make also a haircut. Some of the poskim are saying don't take a haircut on the day of Asara B'Tevet fast. Nevertheless, since it falls on Erev Shabbat, so Erev Shabbat we have no any things that will stop us from doing anything that we need. The Kavod Shabbat, you can wash yourself, and you can cut your nails, and you can take a haircut also, because because of Kavod Shabbat, there is no any strictness about doing these things. During the history of Am Yisrael, something else joined to Asara B'Tevet. I remember when I was a child, even before Medinat Israel was established, the Rabbanim came a question: shall we make a day of fast for the nation or the Holocaust? And there were a lot of people, the rabbis, that they said we should. But at the end, the decision was that we don't have the power to make a fast for a nation. Only a Navi can do such a thing. No one even a big Gadol Batorah, he cannot make a fast for the nation. He can make a fast for a group of people. This you can do. You can accept upon yourself. But to make it as a fast, a mandatory, this can do only a Navi. So therefore, they joined the day of the fast of the Holocaust to the people that they don't have a date when their family was perished. Some people, they know the date that is that the parents were killed, that their children were killed, wife was killed. But a lot of them, they don't know the date. So I remember when I used to come to the shul when I was young, still there were a lot of people that they survived the Holocaust, but they lost all their family. And I remember that there was a assara Tebet was a day that they used to lit 6 candles in the shul, and maybe 90% of the shul said Kaddish. The first time I didn't understand how come everyone says Kaddish. After this, my father explained it to me. This was this became a day, Asara B'Tevet, as a day of the fast also to these people that the family don't know what is the date that their family were killed. So Asara B'Tevet is also another thing nowadays in Eretz Israel, that after this the Rabbanut Rashit accepted this idea, and they established that Asara B'Tevet will be also a day of commemoration for the Holocaust. As we started in the beginning, all these things was Borei Olam gave an opportunity to Am Israel to do teshuvah in the time of the siege around Yerushalayim. Nowadays also, we have, as I said, we have a siege around us, and let's hope, Bezrat Hashem, that everyone will know what to do on the day of the fast. The day of the fast is a day of teshuvah, to say slichot, to pray, and to pray not only for yourself, but to pray also for Klal Yisrael, and to pray also for the captivities that Bezrat Hashem will come back home safely to their families. I would like to thank again Isaac Dweck and Avram Shomer for the shiurim that they, both of them, established, and to wish them bracha v'atzlacha and everything. In Yitz Hashem, hope to meet next week. Shabbat Shalom.